In the bustling city of Lumina, where skyscrapers kissed the clouds and neon lights painted the streets, lived a young man named Eli. Eli was a dreamer, but his dreams were buried under the weight of self-doubt and failure. He had once aspired to be a great inventor, creating gadgets that would change the world. But after countless rejections and a string of broken prototypes, he had given up. Now he worked as a janitor in a tech company, cleaning up the very labs where others brought their ideas to life. One rainy evening, as Eli mopped the floors of the company's R&D department, he overheard a conversation between two engineers. They were discussing a groundbreaking project, a device that could harness renewable energy from sound waves. Eli's heart ached. He had once sketched a similar idea in his notebook, but it had never left the pages. As the engineers laughed and walked away, Eli sighed and leaned on his mop, staring at the whiteboard filled with equations and diagrams he barely understood. Just then, an old man in a faded janitor's uniform shuffled into the room. His name was Mr. Finch, and he had been working at the company for as long as anyone could remember. He was quiet, unassuming, and always seemed to be in the background, like a shadow. But tonight, he stopped beside Eli and glanced at the whiteboard. "Sound waves, huh?" Mr. Finch muttered, his voice gravelly but warm. "Interesting concept, but they're missing something." Eli raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Mr. Finch picked up a marker and, with a shaky hand, added a single equation to the board. "Resonance," he said simply. "Without it, the energy dissipates too quickly." Eli stared at the equation, his mind racing. It was elegant, brilliant even. "How do you know this?" he asked, incredulous. Mr. Finch chuckled. "Oh, I've been around a long time. Picked up a thing or two." He winked and turned to leave, but Eli stopped him. "Wait. Can you teach me? I mean, I have so many ideas, but I don't know how to make them work. I could really use your help." Mr. Finch studied Eli for a moment, his eyes twinkling with a wisdom that seemed far beyond his humble appearance. "All right," he said finally. "But lessons don't come easy. You'll have to earn them." Over the next few weeks, Mr. Finch became Eli's unseen mentor. They met in the quiet hours of the night after the engineers had gone home. Mr. Finch taught Eli not just about science and engineering, but about patience, perseverance, and the importance of failure. He shared stories of his own past, how he had once been a brilliant scientist but had walked away from fame to live a simple life, finding joy in the small things. One night, as they worked on a prototype together, Eli asked, "Why did you give it all up? You could have been famous, rich." Mr. Finch smiled. "Success isn't about fame or money, Eli. It's about making a difference, no matter how small. And sometimes, the best way to do that is to stay in the shadows, guiding others to shine." Eli took those words to heart. With Mr. Finch's guidance, he refined his ideas and built a prototype that worked. When he presented it to the company, they were amazed. They offered him a position in the R&D department, but Eli hesitated. He looked at Mr. Finch, who gave him a nod of approval. Eli accepted the job, but he never forgot the lessons he learned from his unseen mentor. He continued to visit Mr. Finch in the quiet hours, sharing his progress and seeking advice. And when others asked how he had achieved so much, Eli simply smiled and said, "I had a little help from someone who taught me to see the unseen." So friends, the moral of today's story is, true wisdom and guidance often come from the most unexpected places and people. Stay humble, keep your eyes open, and never underestimate the power of an unseen mentor. Sometimes, The greatest lessons are taught by those who choose to remain in the shadows, lighting the way for others to shine.